What's up, guys? DJ Kamara, More Than Just Music. I have a special podcast today with a special guest. I always say I have a special guest, but this one is very, very special, especially the location and what we're going to be talking about, things that I'm really interested in. And without further ado, please get up for Lonnie.
Thank you, guys.
First off, man, I want to just say thank you, for wanting to be on the podcast and, and doing this for me. So
yeah, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely, man. And have you ever done a podcast before?
No, this is my first one, so.
Oh, yeah. So I definitely know how that feels. It's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking, a little bit, don't know what to expect. You don't want to talk too much. But on this podcast, we kind of just, it's open format. You can kind of just go wherever the conversation goes. But I want to kind of explain how I know you a little bit, and then we can kind of go into a little bit of your background in that area. So I met you at the Unlock the Con, the original store here.
Yep.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, we're at the Auburn Mall, Outlet Mall. And I'll kind of talk about how I got into Funko Pop, and that's what we're going to be talking about, Funko Pop. And then you can kind of go into your expertise, I guess. Just a little bit of background on Funko Pop for me was, I had Funko Pop. I had a few figures like way back, like years ago, and it was just like some Seahawk ones, right? It was like Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, and even at that time, I was like, man, I got to collect all of them. But I took them out of the box, and I just was messing around with them, and I don't know where they're at now. Fast forward years and years later, my buddy takes me to a comic book store in Ellensburg, Washington. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna collect some of them, and I'm weird. I'm always like, if I get one, I have to get the whole thing. I have to get every single character, right? And I get a few of those. That was a Friday, and then the next day, I kind of go on this thing called like a hunt, like the search, right? I'm sure you kind of know what that is.
Oh yes.
Yep. And man, all of a sudden, I'm going to like Hot Topic. I'm going to GameStop. I just happened to come to this mall, and that same time, Unlock the Con had just opened. It was the first day. Like, what are the odds of that? For me to like get into it really, like to get into the Funko Pop like world. This Unlock the Con opens. Like, I guess that would be kind of like, that's pretty cool for someone that's just getting into it, because I'm sure you understand that. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, how did you get into Funko Pop?
So I actually tried not to get into Funko Pop. I started out with Funko back early on. So Funko started putting out products late 90s.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so they started with what they called the Wacky Wobblers, which were just bobbleheads. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of the same licenses that they've done for pop figures. It's definitely expanded over the years. But I collected bobbleheads. And so I started collecting the Funko bobbleheads, and then Pops came out, and I was like, oh, these are kind of cool, but like, I don't want to start collecting one more thing, And so, but then I realized the Marvel line and the Star Wars line are bobbleheads. And that was the gateway for me. My very first one my sister gave me was a Spider-Man one.
That was do you still have it?
I still have it, yep.
Okay, so going way back then, what year was that, do you think? How old were you?
Well, Pops first came out, I want to say 2010-ish. So that would have been around that time, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. So about 9, 10, or 10, 11 years ago. Yeah,
I want to say that's when I got the Marshawn Lynch and the Russell Wilson. Now, that was like right when they won the Super Bowl. So it was a few years, I guess, they had been coming out. But Funko itself, is you're saying it was like bobbleheads.
Yeah.
When was that first bobblehead that you got?
My first bobblehead? Oh, that would have been right back when I was in high school, like 99.
99? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I've been with them for the ride, and kind of, been able to see the rise, and it's been kind of crazy just to see how fast it took off, and
yeah. And
it's awesome. I love it.
So when you got your first bobblehead, were you into collecting before that? Was that a thing for you, or?
Yeah, I've always, even since I was a little kid, I used to do the action figures, Marvel, DC. I'm a big wrestling guy, so I used to get all the, WWF, WCW, WWE, whatever you want to call it. All those guys.
I'm a WWF guy.
I'm a WWF guy too, but,
yeah. Yeah.
They might get mad at us for
Even yeah.
We don't want to make the World Wildlife Fund too angry with us now. So
Right.
But yeah, so I've always enjoyed collecting stuff and anything that really catches my eye. And that's the beauty of Funko Pops is there's really something for everyone. You know, there's so many different lines and so many different characters. It's really hard, I think, not to find at least one that you can relate to.
Oh, yes. And that's what I want to kind of let people know that aren't into this, aren't into this world yet. They just see it as a toy or something, right? It's like, if you're in it or you kind of know about it, it's more than just a toy. Mm-hmm. And that's with a lot of things, you know, with collecting anything, really. But for me, it was like, when I got into it, like when I got that Russell Wilson one, like I'm saying, it was, I wasn't in that world. A lot of people might see the sports ones, you know, and they're like, I'm not really into sports. Right. And that's all it is really to me, as I see it. But then once you kind of get into a little bit, oh, they have this movie character that I watched when I was a little kid, or they have this music artist, or they have this action, you know what I mean? So once you get into it, then you kind of see that world. It's a little bit big, it's way bigger. Yes. You know what I mean? It's way bigger than what you might just see, you know, and that's where I want to see Unlock the Con comes in, right? So if you're a collector or you're starting to get into it and you just go to Hot Topic and you just go to these little stores that are always at the mall, you might not get into it that deep. Mm-hmm. I think Unlock the Con really shows you what is out there.
Well, and the difference with Unlock the Con versus, say, a GameStop or a Hot Topic is you go to GameStop, Hot Topic, Target, wherever. There's free advertising for all of them there. You're going to find the new releases. And you'll find those here too, but you're going to find stuff that has been what they call vaulted.
Oh, yep.
You're going to find stuff that is autographed, that's been signed. We have the largest selection of signed Pops in the state of Washington.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's a statement right there.
Yeah. So if you like signed Pops, we're the place to find them. And we really try to make sure that, you know, our pricing is fair. You know, most of the time, most of our stuff is going to be a little bit below whatever current market value is. Once in a while, you'll see something. If it's something that's really hard to find, you know, we might put a couple bucks above on that too. But, you know, it's really hard to come by, which means we probably had to pay a little bit more to get it.
Oh, yeah. And it's like the ease of mind to don't know, like, oh, I don't have to go on eBay and not know if it's a fake. Everyone that works there, all of the team members there, man, like yourself, man, are like, they know what they're talking about. They know the product. They know the history. They know everything. And they make it so much easier for you to trust them. And just, you know, it's easy. You just go in there and you can find a lot of things that you know, you might go to a Hot Topic like we're saying, and you're like, oh, I really want this one, but it's not here. I don't know anything about it. You go there and they're going to let you know, like, well, it's been out for a while. It's vaulted, and, you know, you're going to not know the right places to find it, but here you can find it. You know, we might have it, or it might come in. One day it'll come in, you know.
Well, and that's a big part of it too. And what's nice is, you know, people will bring in their collections. And when someone brings in a collection, you know, and people bring them in for various reasons. They're moving, they need to downsize, they just got into it too quick, too fast, and just bought too many of them at once, you know. And so we see all kinds of stuff coming in. We see stuff that's new stuff. We see stuff that is kind of, you know, a few years old. And then occasionally we see stuff which they, you know, a lot of people will call the grail stuff.
The grails, yep.
You know, and so you get that nice variety, and it's constantly changing. Every week our inventory is always evolving. Just probably 5 to 6 collections every week coming in. Some, you know, less than, you know, 50 to 100. Some 200, 300. I mean, it
really varies.
It really varies.
What when you started collecting, was there a thought in your mind like, oh, this is something I can make a profit out of, I can sell, or was it just like my collection? Like, is this, you know?
Yeah, I never really thought that it would be a valuable thing. And like you had mentioned, you know, you took yours out of the box. I took mine out of the box too.
Yeah, and I actually want to ask you something about that, but continue.
And well, I took the box and I threw the box away.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
And I was like, I got my Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I put it up there with the rest of my Spider-Man stuff, and that's where it's still sitting at home, you know. But
had you kept the box, or something, you know, like, but you weren't thinking that.
I wasn't thinking that, no. And I always tell people when they're shopping for pop figures, but I think this applies to really anything. Buy what you like. Don't necessarily buy for value, because sometimes things that we think are going to be really valuable turn out down the road, they're not as valuable. And then you get kind of stuck with it. And then you're like, well, what do I do with this now? I didn't buy it because I liked it. I bought it because I thought I was going to be able to make, some profit on it later down the road. And some you can, and some you can't. And that's kind of the other side of the Funko world is you get people will go out, and it's gotten so crazy lately with people using the automatic buyers, the bots. And you'll see an online drop, and it'll sell out in seconds, and you're like, how is that even possible? Well, you get a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but you get people that have these automatic buyers, and they'll buy as many as they can, as many as the system will allow them to buy, so they can resell it and try to make that higher profit on them. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword there on some of those online drops.
Yeah, that's a lot of everything nowadays. It's all like resellers, and there's a good side to it and there's a bad side to it. There's the bad side is obviously the price is going to go up, and it's like you can't just get it for retail. The good thing is, I guess, if you really wanted it, you can go out and get it.
Right.
Yeah, if you're willing to pay the price. Man, like for me, it's always been it's still collecting right now.
Yeah.
But I can tell where you see like where people are selling their collections. They're not selling like, are these people selling their entire collections, or are they selling a portion of it?
It all depends on their situation, and each one is unique. And like I said, some people are selling because they need space. Some are selling because they it had an unexpected expense come up. You get all kinds of reasons why people bring their stuff in. Some they just want to keep collecting, and they've run out of room. So you have to say, well, I like this, but I really, really like this.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me.
It is.
Yeah.
I think that's hard for anybody to have to prioritize, because at some point you had to have wanted it because you bought it, right?
Yeah.
And so if like I said, that's the thing. It's like if you just go into buying to buy, and that's when you talk about some of those other stores and they run some of those promos, you
buy one, get one free.
Buy one, get one free, or 3 for whatever.
Yep.
And you're like, well, I got to get a third one. So occasionally, you will say, well, I don't necessarily want this, but to get the price break, I got to get one more.
Yep. And that's how I think that's really where it got me to really over the edge of collecting now. Because it was, I got this, for instance, I got this I got Mortal Kombat. It was Mortal Kombat. And, I got Raiden. I got Scorpion. Oh, I just need to get this other one, right? And then it was like, oh, you buy this one, you get one half off. But I've already completed that collection now.
Yep.
I got to get some other one, right? And then you're in there, you're like, oh, boy, I see this one. I really like this character from this other cartoon or this other show. And then now you're there into that collection. And so that's how I kind of got into it. And then I ran into Unlock the Con, which, again, Unlock the Con is a great, great place to find these really rare, signed, like you're saying. Man, like when I went there, I was like, man, I got to get this one. I got to get this one. I was just that's what's really cool about that. You can really go, and then you can sell them there too. You can, you can feel safe to, if you are one of those collectors where you're like, oh, I don't really want to go on eBay. There's a lot of things on eBay, like fees and all that. And
there definitely is. And we will never be able to pay what you would make if you sold all your stuff, piece by piece on eBay or Mercari or whatever other selling apps are out there, but we will always make you a fair offer, and
you're local if you're from this area, the Northwest area, like it's a local area.
Yeah, and with Funko headquartered out here, there really since they opened in 2017, I've noticed there's been a pretty large increase in the number of people that are collecting pops. It seems like, and it's really been, I'd say, in the last 5 years or so that it's really kind of taken off. And I think they opened that flagship store in 2017 up in Everett.
Oh yeah. I went there just recently, especially during like COVID, man. The line was super long. I don't know if that's always how it is, a line. It's usually not a line, right?
So it's kind of interesting because pre-pandemic, you could go there pretty much, they open at 10 on the weekends and 11 most other days. You could go there about half an hour before and be within the first 10 people. When the pandemic hit and shut everything down, I think it drew more people into collecting.
Yeah. I think that's what got me into it.
And so when they reopened everything up and when they were phasing back in, you were at times you were looking at a 1-2 hour wait to get into the store.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I had to wait that long.
and that's, you know, that's dedication in my point of view. You know, if you're going to go somewhere, and especially not knowing what you're going to find.
Yeah, you don't know what that, because you know they have a lot of the Funko Pop exclusives, and you know sometimes they'll just drops right then that day.
Yeah, sometimes they have random drops. Sometimes they just kind of put random stuff out on the floor. But most of the time, what you're going to find up there is kind of the brand new stuff that hasn't even necessarily hit like your Hot Topics, GameStops, or even our store. A lot of times they put stuff out at the headquarters first. So
that's what's cool about that. So if you ever get a chance, definitely check out the Funko Pop store and Unlock the Con. And the location of Unlock the Con, like, was that something that you got? I know it was. Shout out to Barry. Was that something that he wanted, this area, or was it like?
Well, Barry's local to this area, and so you know when he had the opportunity, because it didn't start out with the idea that it was going to be a physical store. The idea with Unlock the Con was, you know, you're going to go do conventions, Comic-Cons, right? And that's what they did. You know, they started out spring 2019, and they started with Emerald City Comic-Con.
Okay.
Which is a great place to start. It's one of the biggest.
Is that the one in Seattle?
It's the one in Seattle, yeah.
At the or is it
the convention
center, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a 4-day convention. It's a huge convention, one of the bigger ones in the country, and so that's, I mean, to say that's going to be our first one, and you know that was before I was with the company. That was when it was just Barry and Ashley, and They did that, you know. They did a few other shows, and really any local shows they could do. I first met Barry at a show that I was vending at a friend's booth, and we got to talking.
Was it that year, that 2019?
2019, yeah. It was later in the year in 2019.
How long have you been doing that? Have you been going to conventions, participating in them like that?
Well, I mean, I've been going to conventions for years, but being on the other side, you know, as a vendor, I've been doing it. I started doing it in 2019 also.
Oh, okay.
And I did it as a favor to a friend. He had bought a booth, and he was just trying to sell some of his stuff. He's just a local collector, and he had to go out of town. And he's like, well, I'm just going to cancel my booth or whatever, you know. And this was at the toy show that they do in Puyallup.
Okay.
And I said, well, buddy, I mean, I was already going to go. I said, I don't mind running your booth for you. You know, I'm off that day, you know. And he's like, okay, cool. And so I met Barry, you know, because all the vendors were setting up in the morning. Barry came over, introduced himself, said, hey, come on over, check out our booth. Went over. I was really impressed with the setup that they had. And then, you know, we got to know each other a little bit. And then when the pandemic hit, there were no more shows. And so he started running Unlock the Con out of his garage.
Oh, that's like original. That's like the beginning, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, you know, people are coming to the garage, and I'd come up to the garage every once in a while just to see what he had, you know, and just to talk, you know. And went up there one day. He says, I got something exciting coming up. He says, it's not finalized yet, so I don't want to tell you yet, but I think you might be interested. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm like, I'm intrigued though. And he says, we have an opportunity to go to the outlet mall and be a pop-up store for the holidays. So this was for last year, for 2020, for the fourth quarter.
How long until when he told you, like, how long until it actually happened? Like, what's that span? Like, did you know?
I want to say it was like end of August, early September when things kind of got finalized. And then we moved in, we got set up, and we opened at the end of October.
Oh, dang, okay.
Yeah, but the original idea was we were just going to be a pop-up store. And by a pop-up store, I mean like a Funko pop-up store, but like a store that's just there temporarily for the holiday season. And so our original lease was from the end of October through, I think, the first weekend in January. You know, we were going to be out right after New Year's. And so we did that. We were just running, you know, on weekends because everybody else was working full-time jobs. You know, Barry was still a bank manager. Ashley is a bank manager. I'm a school teacher. Marcus is an engineer. And so, I mean, and it was really just kind of the four of us at that point, you know, that were in the store most of the time. And, you know, we weren't quite sure what to expect. So when we opened up there in October, and there's this huge line of people. And it's like, okay, this is going to take off, you know. And so those first few weeks, we were kind of just figuring out how to make it work and, you know, setting up everything so that it made the most sense. And we move stuff all the time. People come in, where'd this section go? It's over here now, you know.
What was, when the day before you opened, like the expectations, was it like, were you guys more like, oh man, we don't know how it's going to go? Was it, when the day actually came, was like, holy cow, like this is way more than we expected. Like we didn't think it was going to be this. Like, was it kind of like that? Was it?
Yeah, it definitely was. And we, you know, and we had a great team of people that came on. We had a lot of people came in and helped to volunteer and help out on those days, you know, and you have to remember, this is in a time too where, you know, we've got capacity counts.
Yeah.
And we were in a very small space. We were in a space that was not intended to house as many, you know, people coming in as we did during that time. So
yeah, it was rough for everybody. But I could only imagine for like a brand new company, like or just a brand new store, didn't even like, man. And what's it like working in like a storefront like that compared to like at an actually like Comic-Con? Like what?
I mean, the main difference is, you know, at a convention, you're going to see a lot more people in one day than you will see at the store, because you have thousands of people that'll go to a convention, right? And you're not going to have 1,000 people usually walk into your store in a day. I mean, if you did, that's a great day.
Oh yeah, right.
Especially if they all buy something.
Right.
But you know, I would say the biggest difference for a convention is there are so many other things going on at a convention. Meaning you're going to, so if you come to our booth at a convention, you're going to find the Funko Pops. You're going to find, you know, the figures, the artwork, all the things that, you know, that we carry in the store. You'll find that at other places at a convention too. You come to the mall, you're not going to find that in one store. You're not going to find the selection of, you know, pop figures that we have, the comic books, the art prints, the canvases, the Loungefly stuff, Pokemon cards. Everything you would find at a convention, you can find at Unlock the Con. And that's the whole goal of the store, is to really bring that Comic-Con experience into a storefront.
Yeah, and it definitely feels that way. You know, I don't think I've ever really been to a Comic-Con or anything like that, really. So I could only imagine, you know. My sisters go to they go to PAX and all that stuff, and so they really know that world. And so I definitely can feel the vibe. What do you see at a storefront like this? Do you see like, okay, now we see more reoccurring customers, someone's coming like all the time? Like, you don't really see that I guess you don't really see that much at a Comic-Con, maybe, or maybe every year you'll see them.
So what's interesting about the shows that we do, because they're local shows, and our customers will come down, you know, and so they come down to support us at the shows, which is really cool. And then we have people from the shows that'll then come up to the store. And so when you do the shows, it's a great opportunity to let people know that, hey, if you like what you see here, this is just kind of a sampler of what we've got up at the store. And, you know, it's been great doing the shows, because it's really increased the number of people that, you know, became aware of us.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so what's crazy is that store, though, the original store, which is still open right now.
Yep.
We have a few days left. They're doing a grand opening of their new store, which we are in right now. We were filming it here at the mall. Man, this is huge. This is huge compared to what they have right now.
It's about 3.5, 4 times bigger.
Yeah, and they're already starting to, you can't really see, but I'm looking around and they've already got sections for different pops, for different genres, and they got the posters over there, or the pictures and stuff like that. The Funko Pops that are in here now, what was chosen for these ones to be in here, not over there? Are they just...
some of them are overstock, so just stuff that we had in the back room, or even that Barry still had at his garage. He's got his garage back now for the first time in 2 years. He can park his car inside, so I guess that's good with the inclement weather season coming up. But some of these are things that have come in the last couple weeks that we wanted to save so that we'd have some new stuff out here. So if you come down for the grand opening, that'll be August 27th, 28th will be our 2 grand opening days. That's next Friday and Saturday. There's going to be a lot of new stuff that hasn't been in the store before, and every price range. Stuff that you're looking for. Your $10, $20 pops. We're going to have the new stuff for those. If you're looking for those grails, the chases, the sign stuff, all kinds of stuff that you have not seen in the store before. So.
Oh man, I'm excited. I will definitely be there. Grand opening. My wife actually is going to be doing the photo booth, so we'll be having the photo booth there. They'll have a DJ here.
Yes. DJ Speaks is coming in from Chicago.
Definitely. Yep. Met him already. I'm actually hooking him up with some sound. Man, I'm just excited just to see it, the grand opening, because I guess I was sort of not really at the grand opening for your first store, but I was there the day that you guys opened.
Yeah.
Did you guys do a grand opening type thing? Was it that day, I guess?
I mean, we did some giveaways, and we'll be doing that when we open this spot too. We'll be doing some giveaways. We're gonna have a special run of our mystery boxes. Those have been pretty popular over in the other spot and at the shows that we've done. So, and the thing with our mystery boxes, we always try to make sure you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you either get what you pay or you get a little more. You get more.
Well, that's the thing. There's some great top hits in there, and we put sign pops in there. We put all kinds of stuff in there. But for $10 plus tax,
yep.
Man's got to get his cut, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to break even at worst.
Oh yeah.
So some places their mystery boxes, it's kind of a grail or fail, meaning you pay a higher price knowing you're got that chance of getting something really worth a lot, but there's also that chance you get something that's worth less than what you actually paid for, and that's where people kind of steer away from mystery boxes. We never wanted to do that. We wanted people to feel that the mystery box was a fun thing. It wasn't really a gamble. Mm-hmm. It's and maybe you get something that you don't collect, but that's also part of the fun of Funko Pops, is something that you don't necessarily collect, your buddy might.
Oh yeah, and then you can kind of get them into it. Maybe they didn't even they made one of those, dang. And that's what I've been doing as gifts, is now all of my family knows I'm the guy that gives out the Funko Pops. So I'm the uncle, or I'm the brother. What's cool about the mystery box thing is I didn't even know that was a thing until I think I saw Barry on the Unlock the Con Instagram was posting some of that. I'm like, yeah, and I got one, and it wasn't like a grail obviously, but it was a cool one that I was like, oh man, this is like, and it's something that's probably, it hadn't been released in a while, and it was it's cool. I actually have what I consider for me grails, and I like to think that a grail to anyone is different, Yep. I mean, obviously you have chases, which I don't even own a chase, but I know in the Funko Pop community, chases are the more rare ones. But do you see that?
The chases, the chases are, it kind of depends on what their odds are. So, a lot of them are 1 in 6. So for every 6 that they make, there's one variant. Mm. And so different chases end up being worth more. It kind of depends on what it is. If it's something that's an exclusive to a store that has a chase, those tend to be worth a little bit more than just kind of the ones that are just a 1 in 6. It also depends on how popular the character is. Mm. If it's a chase, but it's not something that anybody is interested in, then the value on those really tanks or never goes up to begin with. Mm.
Yeah, my thought of it is I don't even care what the price is or what it's worth. I like it because I like it. That's the way I like it.
And that's what I always tell people is buy what you like. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, if you just buy for value, you end up getting stuck, or you have at least that potential to get stuck with something that is going to be, 1, worth less than what you paid for it down the road, mm-hmm. or 2, something that you can't sell because it's not popular and nobody wants it.
What's one of your top grails in your eyes? What's a grail to you and that you own?
Well, like you were saying, the definition of a grail really is more about its importance and value to you than it is so much the dollar amount. So when I talk about that Spider-Man pop, that's a $10 pop. It was $10, when my sister bought it. It's still worth $10 because they're still making them, mm-hmm. But it was my first pop, and it came from my sister, and so, that's a grail to me. Mm. That's one I will never part with.
Yeah. The fact that that one, you could get the same one in another box, and it's not that grail. The grail is the one that you have. That's right. It's been there.
It's sitting out of box. It's on the shelf,
So do you take them out of the box? Are you one that takes out of the box or keeps them in the box?
I do both. If you're going to be collecting a large number of lines, which it's easy to do because there's so many different options out there, you get to a point where you just run out of space. So you have one of two things, and I see people do different things. I've seen people go out and buy storage units just because they don't have room for their pops. Now, to me, if I can't see it, it's cool I have it, but I mean, like, I want to be able to see it. I want to be able to look at it. I want, when people come over, I want them to, it's a conversation starter.
Oh, it is, yep.
So I decided a while ago, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to take some out of the boxes. And most of them, I put them into cases. So Michael's, the craft store, they sell different types of display cases. And they have one that is actually designed for baseball bats. And it'll hold about 14, 15 of the loose figures in each one, and then you can hang them on the wall.
Is it glass or is it what?
So the case is wood. It's got a glass front.
Okay. I'm actually looking into getting the case right now. If you look in my marketplace searches, it's like glass cases or display cases.
So these are nice. They hang on the wall nicely. You could put 3 or 4 on a wall. It looks really nice together. A lot of people will take them and they'll put a case, and then they'll take some kind of other figure, like maybe like some of the mystery mini figures, and they'll put them on top of that, and then they'll put another case on top of that, and just keep adding to the display. And so what I've done with mine is I have them, each wall has a theme, kind of like the way the store is set up right now. So like I have all my horror ones together. I have all my Marvel ones together, etc.
What how extensive is your collection? How big is it? Do you know the count?
I honestly don't know the exact count. I'm actually in the process of downsizing a little bit right now because I've run out of space.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of going through right now, and I'm looking at the ones that really mean the most to me. And because like I said, if I can't display it, I don't know that I necessarily need to have it. And if somebody else, it might be something that somebody else is really looking for.
Oh yeah.
So that's something that all of us really have done. Is we'll bring in our personal collections sometimes and stuff from our collections. Because
have you brought some here?
Yeah.
Someone out there owns one of your old Funko Pops.
Oh yeah. I brought some in today, even for the grand opening. So.
Which ones are they? Do you want to say what they are, or?
No. I mean, there's a lot of different ones, different lines. I tried to bring a little bit of everything. So.
Yeah, you want to kind of be excited for when they come in. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show you some of what I feel like are my grails. And when I got into Funko, I really just wanted I got some UFC ones. I got like George St. Pierre, but I really wanted to get the music ones because obviously like I'm a DJ. And I'm like, I love music. I love, especially like the Northwest. And that's what I got. One of the artists on here, he's from the Northwest. So it's like kind of like local, right? And so I bought him this kit. Let me know. I'm not sure. I'm going to see if you collect any artists or anything like that. I know when I first went to that Unlock the Con, you were helping me out, over there. And one of the things I was trying to get into was, because I just noticed that I had a bunch of Funko Pops that had guitars. So I was like, maybe I should start a guitar collection. It's like all the Funko Pops with guitars. So
yeah, a lot of the Rocks line.
Yeah, and a few of these are just eras. I'm a real huge '90s fan. So
yeah,
Daria right here.
Nice.
This one's this was like the show and just the Beavis and Butthead world and stuff like that. Like that was just like when I was a kid, man. That was just like I loved that feeling of MTV back then. And stuff like that. So
and that was a convention exclusives too.
Yep.
So that was a hard one to find, and it would be a hard one to find now because it's 2 years old.
Oh yeah, 2 years old. I do have a few older ones, but I did not get this on Unlock the Con. You guys didn't have this one.
No,
I don't think you ever.
I don't know that we've had that in the store.
This is something you would have noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have this one?
I don't have that one. I do have that one though.
You do have this one. This one right here. Man, if anyone knows about the Pacific Northwest, everyone knows Nirvana. And I feel like a lot of times there was like, there was never like the Northwest. Maybe this is just in the hip hop culture, but there's not really a sound, like what does the Northwest sound like? This was, I feel like grunge music that's the sound of the Northwest. That is it. It's always going to be that way. Like that's it. He made that sound, or he was one of the artists. There was a lot of bands.
He was a pioneer.
Pioneer of it. Yeah. He kind of made it more of the in front of the limelight, I guess, if you want to say.
Yeah, no, I remember growing up. So, I mean, when Nirvana came out, I was going into middle school, end of elementary, early middle school. And it was definitely a big contrast from, the late 80s, early 90s sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made them stand out, is it was different. You had a lot of other great artists that came out of, this area, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, which they've got a Pearl Jam 5-pack coming out.
Oh yes. Oh my God. I was this close to getting. I don't know why I didn't.
Because you're going to get it from us, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
See,
and that's what Barry always says. Yep. Yeah, there's Nirvana was obviously one of the pioneers. There was a band, because I'm from Ellensburg, Washington, Central Washington, and there was Screaming Trees.
Screaming Trees, yeah.
And they're from Ellensburg, like that. They're from the town. So, man, like this, if I'd say like if I was before when I was getting into the Funko Pop, like this is the one I want. I don't care about any other one. This is the one I want. If I could get rid of all of them, this is the only one I'm keeping. When I got this one, I put it in one of these cases. Right? You guys had run out of the ones that are like magnet.
The armor, yep.
Did you guys get any more of those in yet? Or
so we should have some. Hopefully by the end of September. They're with like every other shipment in the world. They're backlogged, and which that's as of late that's made shipments kind of challenging, because there will be weeks where we don't get anything that we've ordered. There'll be weeks where we end up with like a whole pallet of new stuff. But at some point, that should balance out.
I didn't even know there was magnet ones, but I guess that's easier to take out.
Right? So these are the ones that Funko makes. These are the pop stacks, and we do sell these too.
I got those from you guys.
And we tape the bottoms on them. Because what will happen with these, and I actually had that happen with a couple of my pops that I put in stacks, if they fall off your shelf, car goes by with their base up, or you have a cat, or I have a cat, that's why. But they fall off. Sometimes those bottoms will pop right off. And so the whole idea of these is to protect your pops. The difference with the pop armor is they're sealed on the bottom. They have a magnetic top, and they're very heavy duty. So, I mean, like if this falls and it's not sealed shut, good chance it pops out, might pop out, might get damaged. With the armor, I mean, it has a fitting name.
Oh, yeah. And if you're thinking about, like, you're putting, the ones that you're putting in cases like this, you're putting them up high. You're putting them up. You're not putting them down here. You're putting them up. So I guess a way to falling. And so, that one, so I would say,
we always recommend it if you have something that is worth a lot to you, whether it's monetary value or just personal value, we always recommend to put it into an armor, because that's what's going to protect it the most. This is going to give it a good amount of protection. Your soft protector there, that's your most basic level of protection. That's going to keep the dust off of it. But I mean, if somebody steps on it, it's still going to get smashed. If somebody steps on this, you're probably going to be okay.
So definitely this was like, I would say not a grail to me, but I just was like, this is such in my childhood right here.
But again, the definition of a grail is it based on how much it's worth, or is it how much it's worth to you personally?
Yeah.
And to me, it's that's
and that's what I think the company Funko Pop has really gotten to of their customers. Like this, I love how, like, where else can you find any of this brand of like Daria? Like I wouldn't find anything about this anywhere. You can't find anything. Like you really have to dive really deep. But they made a Funko Pop of it. That's crazy.
Yeah, no. And if you didn't grow up in that era, or if, I'm sure it's not in reruns somewhere, but you probably have no idea. Like, well, who is Daria? What was this show all about?
Yeah.
And I mean, and to a degree, even Kurt Cobain. I mean, I work with 9 and 10-year-old kids, for my day job, and if I bring up Nirvana, they all kind of look at me like,
yeah. I just same with my kids, and I had to I would start playing some of his music. Yeah. We went to recently went to Ocean Shores, and as we're going through Aberdeen. Mm-hmm. If you ever been to Aberdeen, then you're on that highway entering the town, it says "Come as you are" on the bottom of the sign. Definitely cool. I know there's a photo out there of Kurt, like he's like, it's like on the way there too. It's just a sign that had like, it's like 26 miles here, 36 miles here, or something else, and he covered it up. So you'd have 666, right? But now if you drive there, they have it all marked off. They have it like, they changed they maybe put like an extra mile on it or something. So you can't do that anymore.
So you couldn't do it, yeah.
I think a lot of people were stopping by,
trying to recreate it.
Yeah. So it came to being like just too much, so they had to change it.
Well, it's a safety thing too. I mean,
Yeah, you don't want to be on the freeway like having people just park stopped.
Exactly.
My last one was, so this is kind of interesting. Like I've always been a huge fan of this artist, and it's weird because right when I get into Funko Pop, right when I started collecting, now they're announcing this. Like it's just weird, like the weird timing of it, you know. And this one is the Selena one. I'm a huge fan of Selena, you know, just because of, you know, what her music really crossed over to me on the radio. Like my mom, I'm not Hispanic in any way, but when I was listening to the radio, her American music that she had just started to get into, she wanted to cross over to American music, and then right when she did, she was murdered, right? So, you know, I was a kid and I heard on the radio, and that's how I found out about her music. Nobody like told me about it. Anyways, you know that I've always been a fan, and it's like right when I get into Funko Pop, like they're like it was an exclusive thing that they just released. There was like there's three different ones. This is the Funko Pop exclusive. This is like the hardest one to get.
That is the hardest one to get. Yeah.
They have two other ones. There was like the regular one, and they have the Hot Topic version, which the Hot Topic was a little bit more. I guess it's like each step. You got the regular, or is that what they call the standard?
I mean, it's just a variant.
A variant, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if it has the same mold, now this was a different mold than the one where she's in her red dress.
Mm-hmm.
The Hot Topic is the
sparkly red.
Yep, it's got the glitter on the dress.
Yep.
And so, and really, that's the difference between those two figures, is that one has the dress that has the glitter, one does not. One's just painted. Mm-hmm. That brings up kind of an interesting point too, is that just the amount of variants that that Funko will make,
which is cool.
It's
because like I guess a company would be like, why are we gonna make somebody just make one and not to come up with these other molds? I guess
it's cool, but it also if you're a completionist, it drives you absolutely bonkers,
right?
Because they'll be like, okay, I just bought let's say it's Iron Man, so I just got this Iron Man. Cool, I've got my Iron Man. Wait, there's a chrome version? Oh, I got to get that too. Wait, there's a glow in the dark version? There's a metallic version?
Yeah. They're doing that with the
There's a black light version?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it just they keep making and it's one of those, you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And Funko fans are not shy about their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if you follow any of the local groups on any social media or even just any of the Funko forums, it's a very vocal group. Not necessarily in a bad way, but it's like some people are like, oh, I love it, they made another version of this, and some people are like, make something new, you know.
Yeah. I feel like definitely the variants, some of them are like not that crazy. Like
yeah.
Kurt has 4.
Well, what's
the
cool,
fourth one.
What's cool with the Kurt Cobain ones though is for the most part they are all different.
Yeah.
You know, they're all Kurt Cobain, but they are all different molds.
Yeah, no, there's not one that's like, okay, that one's a little bit like it. No, it's literally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still want to get the other ones, but this one was like, man, it's just something. I mean, it's just like, this is so Washington. This is so Pacific Northwest. This is like, you know, I love it. That's why I really want to collect a lot of like, you know.
I remember the day that came out. It was one of their random drops. And Funko used to drop on Wednesdays only. That was kind of the drop date, but it wasn't always Wednesday, like every Wednesday. And but people knew like, okay, well, around 11 o'clock, just kind of be on your computer or your phone or whatever, and just be refreshing. And I remember when that popped up, I was on my computer, and I was like, ooh, thank you. You know?
Yeah, like when you saw that one, it was like, okay, this is a big one, right? Like you would say this is a pretty like.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those ones that there wasn't a thought of, do I need that? Do I want it? It was like, yes, please.
Yeah, yeah. There was no question. Like, you had to think about it. Like I'm gonna wait for it. Nah, like you knew this was not gonna last very long on there. Like it was gonna be gone.
They never do. So going back to what I was talking about earlier, where people are kind of have those automated buyers, the Funko shop has been hit hard by that. I know they're trying to address it, but it does get frustrating at times because there are times where something will go up and literally sell out in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's like, how is that even possible? You know, I mean, I get if you have your automated information, whatever, and a lot of people are on there trying to get it, but a lot of the time you get those automated buys. So
yeah, that sucks, and it happens everywhere. And I feel like
it's not just Funko. I mean,
yeah, it's everything. Like I do also have I like shoes, and they do with shoes. They do with everything, even with the PlayStation 5 right now. It's the hardest. Like I wanted to get a PlayStation 5, but now it's like it's been almost like 2 years. It's going on 2 years now. Like, it's still not in stores.
They'll have the 6 out before the 5 comes out.
Yeah, like, man, it's just like, and it's like, all the customers are like, like, we don't even have it. There's people that are that are like reselling them. They have the whole lot of them, and they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And really, PlayStation's probably more like, well, we made our money, so it's like they're not even really. Hopefully, they're trying to fix it, but they're not like.
Yeah, and there's a number of people too that are like that with Funko, and they feel that way, and they'll, people will say, hey, they're still getting their money. So I mean, as long as they know they're going to sell them all out, do they care where they go? And that's not a question I can't answer. I mean,
yeah,
I would.
They might say it in the public, yeah, we're going to do something about it, but in the back, they're like, we made our money. Like, we just got to.
I don't know, and for some people that alienates them from the hobby though too, And sometimes you get a little too deep into it, I think. I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, I just went overboard. I think I've done that myself sometimes.
Yeah, I think I did that too.
You walk in. I know the first time I walked into the Funko headquarters store, I walked out with like 4 bags of stuff. And it wasn't necessarily stuff I needed. It was just like, this was amazing. It's like when you go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And do you really need another pair of, mouse ears? but you see them and you're like, but I don't have the Donald Duck ones. Yeah. And so,
Yeah, I think that's for me was like right when I got in it, like I was like, oh, I got to get this one. Now I've slowed down a lot. I'll just go in a few times. If I do go in, I'll get a few, like, oh, I'll do this one. I look at them like, okay, which one do I really want to, like, But do you see that a lot now? Like
sometimes, we'll get people that'll come in, and we'll be up at the front, and they'll say, "Oh, what should I buy today?" And I just look at them and I say, "Buy them all. I can go home early." But I was like, "No." I was like, "Just buy what you like. Buy what speaks to you." And I think that's the best advice you can give anybody with any kind of collectible, because there's no guarantee on the value. It fluctuates so much.
Yeah. Yep, definitely, just watch your spending and buy what you want. Buy what, like, you really, if you came in for one, like, if you find it, get it. Don't, maybe not vary to other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's nice.
I'm not trying to say don't buy it, like, but.
Well, it's nice when you can come across something and it's like, holy cow, they have this one and I've never seen this one before. I didn't even know they made this one, and we get that a lot. Especially with the older vaulted stuff, people that have started collecting in just the last year or two. Because, again, Pops have been around for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the fun part of it, too, is when you get to see that reaction. I love when kids come in. And, and because, kids have – an adult comes in and, they'll be like, oh, that's really cool, and they can suppress that excitement sometimes. Kids don't. They have no excitement filter. So you hear a kid will come in and be like, Pokemon, and they run over to the Pokemon section and they're looking at the Squirtles and the Bulbasaurs and Pikachu, and they're just so excited to walk out of there with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, man, with me, it's like my son gets like super excited. That's like a thing we do now. It's like, oh, we're going to the Funko Pop store. Mm-hmm. He knows about the podcast that we're doing right now. He's like, oh man, that's so exciting. Like, I wonder how it must be exciting for my son to like my dad's gonna talk about Funko Pop, doing a podcast, and I actually shot a podcast with my son. On his birthday, we sit down and talked. Yeah, it was, that was something I was like, man, it's pretty cool, and he was able to sit down and actually have a conversation with me, and it's awesome. And we talked about some Funko Pops that we had picked up. I want to kind of talk about. I don't know if it was you. You can spot a fake. Was it you that could spot a fake pretty good?
I usually can. Marcus is probably the best at it.
Yeah, I think it was Marcus that was telling me. He's the one with glasses.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm totally against. I don't like that. But what about the people that custom do ones? How do you feel about that? People that do custom ones that like.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I think that if you are skilled enough to make a custom pop, you can make pretty much anything you want. And there's some great ones out there, and some people do it just for fun. Some people do it for profit. They sell their stuff. One of the gentlemen that works in the store, TJ, he does customs. Chris, who also works in the store, has done customs before. And I think it's fun. I've never tried to make a custom myself.
That's like a whole nother world.
It's a whole nother world, and I am not super artistic. I mean, I could give you a great idea, but to have the ability to follow through and do it myself, that would be one of those. I'm a good idea man, I guess, is where I'll leave that. But I don't think it would turn out if I tried to actually put it together the way I would want it to look.
Yeah. I actually because I know you can actually make your own at the Funko Pop store, but it's really
it's kind of limited.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool for the average buyer. Like, oh man, I got my own Funko Pop. But I actually contacted somebody that's like, they make the boxes and everything. Yeah. Like they'll ask for some photos and they do the whole thing, and to the details of like, I have a necklace on and I have a watch or something, and that detailed. And there's someone that they have hair, like actual hair, like that's pretty cool. I like that. And they'll say like, we're in no way connected to Funko, so don't think like we're trying to like replica ones or something like that.
There's been a little bit of ruffled feathers in the community for people that do customs, because there have been a few times that Funko has taken ideas and then mass produced them without giving credit. And so it's always interesting when that happens, because people that know the people that do the customs, they just blow up social media with like, come on, like, it's cool that you're making this, but you got to give credit to the person who came up with the idea and did the initial one. They don't usually.
Oh man, see, that's going pretty deep into like that. Like, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of aspects to Funkos, and like you were saying with the knockoffs, and it's like any other thing that's popular. Like, I mean, there's a lot of shoes, clothing, that kind of stuff that comes out that's not authentic. The pops, usually you can tell. There's a few different ways that you can spot a fake. A lot of times you have to take it out of the box to find it. Sometimes it's on the box.
I'm hoping you're not seeing this one like that's a fake.
No, you're good. But I mean, sometimes like you look at the lettering, and sometimes the lettering's just a little bit off, and you can tell on a fake. And occasionally you get box errors. Funko. So for example, I have one at home, the Willy Wonka line, the Oompa Loompa. They misspelled Oompa Loompa. They wrote Oopma Loopma. and that's how the first batch of those came out.
They actually came. That was an actual
error box. Yeah. And so, but there are some characters, the more popular ones that you end up seeing fakes made a lot of. I will tell you, a good way to spot a fake is if you go on eBay and you find something that's way cheaper than it should be. It's probably not authentic.
Yeah.
Because most of the time resellers know what they have, and they're going to be trying to get as much for it as they can, in the online market. So you'll go on, you'll see. So this is what's he up around 200 now?
Yeah.
So let's say you went on there and you saw Kurt Cobain Funko Shop exclusive, $29.99, and then you're looking at it and ships from China. Their seller rating's not terrible. You're like, but $29.99. Most likely. Not a real deal.
One of those sayings is too good to be true.
Yes. That's exactly. If it seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is a fake.
Yeah, I guess I got this off eBay for around 200. It was a little over 200.
Yeah.
And that's like buying something like that price. Are you like you're a little bit more serious about it, you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna spend more than retail on a figure or really anything, you want to make sure it's coming in, 1, good condition, 2, that it's authentic, and 3, that that you're buying from somebody that is giving you a good deal. It's not somebody that is just trying to make as much money as they possibly can. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on at the store, is we try to make sure our prices are as fair as they can be. So there are times where, let's say there's a recent release, we will wait sometimes to price it, because usually there's about a 2-week period where the price, like right away, the price goes super high, then it'll kind of come down, then it goes up. Usually after 2 weeks it settles, and you kind of get an idea of what the aftermarket value is going to be on a figure. So sometimes we'll wait on those. If we don't wait, we look at what we paid for it, we look at what we think it's going to be worth, and we try to find a fair price for people there. The Alice in Wonderland Blacklight Pops, for example, that just came out in the last couple months. People bought them up. They dropped randomly on a Thursday morning on the Funko shop. There were 4 different pops. There were 4 different sodas, T-shirts, posters, all kinds of stuff. And most of it sold out pretty fast. Immediately, you go to eBay listings, $100 each, $200. Jeez.
Yeah,
$500 for the set. We brought them into the store. We were selling them for, I think the most expensive one we sold, which was the Cheshire Cat, we were selling for around $70. So we try to price it in a fair range, and that's kind of where it settled out. So most of the other ones, I think we had put 40 on them.
Mm.
So it's one of those things where you got to be careful when you're doing the eBay stuff, or Mercari or OfferUp, or really any online stuff. Sometimes people will buy on Amazon, and the thing you have to remember about something like Amazon is they've got a lot of third-party resellers on there as well. And so the way that I always tell people, if you're buying from Amazon, the best way to make sure you're actually paying retail on it is that it says ships and sold by Amazon.
Yeah, and or the actual Funko. Don't they have like a Funko? They have a Funko store on there too.
There's a Funko store on Amazon too. Yeah, and Funko has their own online store where you can buy stuff, and a lot of that stuff is what you would find up at the headquarters too. So for everybody that's not here in Washington, if you're still looking to find out what's kind of new at the Funko store, then you just go to Funko Shop online.
I think there's there's this Funko Pop place in LA, I think too, right?
Funko Hollywood. That opened 2019, late 2019.
That would be like considered almost like a headquarters in itself too, like, or is that like?
I mean, it's another physical storefront. The headquarters will always be based in Washington. They weren't originally out of Everett. They were based out of Linwood, Washington when they first started. If you get any of the older boxes and you look at it and it says Funko Linwood, Washington,
man.
and you're thinking, oh man, this must be a fake. No, Funko actually started in Linwood, and then they moved to Everett when they opened up their offices there, and then that's where they ended up building their headquarters.
Do you have any from Linwood on your boxes? Or?
Oh yeah.
Man, I bet is your spot? Is it like just Funko everywhere in there, or?
Yeah. It's probably a little too much Funko everywhere.
Yeah, my cousin. Man, my cousin's husband. I remember he was collecting, and I always watched. Shout out to Jesse. That's who it is. I actually brought him to the store, but he's like, dude, I have nowhere to put him. Yeah. Like, I have nowhere to put him. Like, I'm not there yet. I actually have a shelf now, just completely full. Yeah. But, man, like,
I started with a shelf.
Yeah.
Then I had to get more shelves.
Is there like, how often do you buy them now? Do you kind of like, are you?
I'm actually I'm a little more sparingly on what I buy now. If it's something that I really, really like, I'm definitely going to buy the set. But I've gotten to the point now where it's like I don't need 10 of the same character.
Yeah.
Even though they're in different poses, and it's hard too because like the Star Wars or the Marvel or DC, they have all these different poses. So I mean, you got like Superman in his superhero pose, Superman flying, Superman flexing, all these different poses that they do, and you're like, but do I really need all those?
like where am I gonna put it?
So I was like, I'm just gonna pick my favorite Superman. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the one that I really liked they did with Superman was the one that we've got on the shelf over there that they started doing with the comic book background behind it.
Oh yeah, is it the whole black box too, right?
Yeah, it's got the whole box over there. Yeah,
it's right here.
Yep, that one that's right over there, and it's got the issue 1 of Action Comics, and then it's got the Superman figure inside of the box there.
Man, just looking over it, and he's got this Batman. I don't know what is that thing next to the board, like the board with the red circle, half circle.
The shelf, yeah.
The shelf that looks pretty like what.
So we got that from a customer. Shout out to April if you're listening. She brought that in. She was moving, and she said, "Hey, would you guys like to have this?" And we said, "Yes, we would."
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's Batman the Animated Series. Was out.
Man, I'm like excited because I came in here, but I haven't really got to look, and I'm starting to look in here. Man, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Like, honestly, like I don't know anywhere else in this area has anything like this.
Well, and that's the thing, and I want to emphasize that we're more than just Funko Pops. Funko Pops are a lot of what we do, but we have we partner with Snapping Turtle Gallery, and so we have 500 different art prints. We have 250 of which that we carry in the store, of all different fandoms. It's fan art, so you know a lot of it is stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see. You know, for example, we had Darth Maul fighting Wolverine on one.
Oh yeah,
and it's just a super cool one, but you're not going to find that really anywhere else. We have 2 different size canvases. Our smaller canvases, we sell them for $45. Our larger ones, we sell them for $85. And the difference in the color, I always recommend the canvases. They're a little bit more, but if you want something for your home, you know, that's really going to stand out, that's going to pop, I always say go with the canvas. The prints we do $10 each. They're $15 on the website because they got to do shipping, but we don't have to do shipping because you come to us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
We've got a large assortment of Loungefly stuff, which is a division of Funko. Mini backpacks, purses, wallets, keychains, all different fandoms. A lot of really cool stuff. We've got a lot of toys. Back there, we've got Bob's Toy Box. Yeah, there's a pretty cool story with that. So Barry's grandpa owned a toy store.
Oh wow!
And that's why he called it Bob's Toy Box back there, in honor of his grandpa. So I thought when he told me that story, I was like, I got to share that on the air. Because
that's cool. Like, is out? So the store was called Bob's Toy Box.
I don't know if it was the name of the store. I'd have to ask him that, but I think he came up with that just because it was his grandpa Bob. He sold toys, and it might have been the name of the store. I don't know. We'll have to check on that.
That's cool. Like, that's weird. That, you know, I mean, I wonder if that's like. It was in his blood, like it's in his grandpa did it. Now it's like now he's doing it. Was it like
I don't know.
This is
it's a very good possibility.
Like I don't know many people that have toy stores, and so I'm sure like the people that do have toy stores, it's because it's been in the family for so long or something, So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's a good story, man. Like
it is, and and so I mean, and we don't have the section built yet, but we're gonna have the comic books back there. We're actually looking at putting in kind of a little area where, you can sit down with a comic book and just kind of go through and, peruse through a long box as opposed over in the old space. I'm sure you've seen the long boxes are pretty close to the floor. People, I've seen people over there sitting on the floor for an hour. They get up like, my back.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can we do over here? Make that process a little bit more comfortable for them. Let's put a table in, let's put a couple chairs over there or something where they could sit down and just take their time going through it because there's always new stuff to see in those boxes.
Yeah.
We have graded comics. That whole wall will be full of graded comics come next Friday when we open up. We have a pretty good assortment of cards. Most of them are Pokemon, and we've got some Magic. We've got some Yu-Gi-Oh! We're looking to expand on that a little bit too. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know that with Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. There's some places that are actually help you playing. Is that something that might be a thing or no?
We've looked at some events, and that's my job is I'm in charge of events and the offsite stuff. We've talked about some different possibilities. It's hard to plan anything right now because of the pandemic. So it's like we've got this whole list of ideas, and then we come to the execution process of it. Like, how would we pull that off? And there's a lot of things that we're still trying to figure out. But we are starting to do celebrity guest appearances in the store. We had our first one.
Rich, right?
Rich Ting, yep, was here in July, and that was actually right outside here of the old store out here. It was really fun. Great guy. Shout out to Rich.
Yep.
And we really enjoyed having him. But for the grand opening next week, we'll have 2 guests in the store. We'll have Tara Sands, who is a voice actress, and she's done a lot of different voices over the years. Most well known for doing Bulbasaur on the Pokemon cartoons.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's big.
and then we've got Sandy Selner's going to be here, and Sandy was Alpha 5 on Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's cool.
Yeah, and we're going to have new exclusive art prints for both Tara and Sandy that they'll be able to sign for you. We have the paper prints. We also have canvas prints that they can sign for you too. We'll have some pops. You can bring your own pops. You can bring your own stuff to get signed.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't think. Okay, that's
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be really cool.
yeah. So that's another thing too. Like having, these people come here. These these artists that are or actors and stuff like that. That's awesome. Because you don't get to experience that much at a regular, like a storefront like this. More like at a Comic-Con or something.
And again, that's the goal of the store, is to bring that convention experience to you here. And so we've got some stuff lined up for the rest of the year, as long as things don't go astray with the virus. We've got people coming in throughout the end of the year. Just watch the Facebook page, watch the Instagram page for updates on that. So, and just come in and talk to us, because we're always happy to talk.
Oh yeah, no. The whole crew here, man, you guys are awesome, super fun. Like they'll help you out. Like if you need you have an idea, if you have I'm looking for this one, they definitely know. They know what's in stock. They know what they got, and they can definitely help you out there, man.
Well, and we always try to if somebody comes in and like, man, I'm really looking for this, we'll go out and find it for you. If we can. Within reason. I mean, we're not going to go everywhere.
Yeah, no. I'm sure you guys have a little bit more of a, connection to finding certain ones.
Yeah.
More than the average person. So no, that's cool. Like, and definitely, Lonnie here, man. Like, when I met you, man, you were like, oh, I know we got that one in the back. Let me go grab it real quick. and no, I'm just great that you were one of the ones that got to be on this podcast with me, because you were one of the first people I saw there at the store. It's a little bit strange. Did you think maybe one day we'd be on a podcast like this? And
no, did not cross my mind.
Yeah, and I've never I'm a pretty I'm a nice guy, and I work for my company. I'm always a people person, but to get this involved in a store, unlock the con, and just knowing all the people that work there, and and knowing that it was a lot of you guys were just there for volunteering and just helping out. That's just it's a fun place to be, where it's I'm willing to just help out and stuff like that, and so I connected with Barry a little bit more, and and then he's like, oh man, I know you DJ, and I already got a guy coming in, but we're looking for some equipment, and I'm like, oh man, I'll help you out there. And then he asked about the photo booth, and then we're gonna have the photo booth here too, and no, you guys are like a big family, it's really cool.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing that really makes this worthwhile, is just how close everybody is. And we're a small knit crew. We've grown this year, and we'll probably grow in this space, would be my guess too.
Yeah, look at this. It's got a huge.
It's a big space.
It's a big space.
Now,
a lot of
now our job statuses have changed a little bit. Barry left the bank, so he's here full time. Ashley will be here full time. I'm still doing the school teaching because I can't leave the kids.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. No. Shout out to all the teachers out there. Yourself too. That's awesome.
So I mean, during the week, you won't see me around here too much. I'm more here on weekends, and then at the conventions. That's usually where you'll find me. Is I'll be running the booth. So we did one a couple weeks ago.
What grade do you teach?
I teach fourth grade currently.
Fourth grade. Okay, so do you have anything on your desk? Is there any Funkos on your desk? Is that?
I've had a couple pops in the classroom. Yeah, and kids always ask about them. And it's just.
That's cool.
It's fun to talk about.
It's I remember when I was in second grade, the big thing at that time was Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies was huge, and it was to a point where the teacher was like, "All right, this day you bring your favorite Beanie Baby and have it on your desk."
Yeah.
I remember that to this day. And Beanie Baby was huge. I don't know if you ever had collected at Beanie Babies before. Or you saw that.
I didn't collect them, but I lived through the whole Beanie Baby.
It was
years.
huge.
It really
was really big. Till McDonald's was selling them.
Yeah.
We would go. Me, my mom, and my sister would go to these different these mom and pop shops that weren't even like a collector's. It wasn't a collecting place, but they had Beanie Babies there, and we go there, and it's you had to have the tag, and you had a little protector on the tag, and all that. It was huge. My mom might still have some, but it was that big. It got into the schools to where you could bring your baby to school.
Yep, I remember that too.
And so. That's cool.
People have often compared Funko Pops to Beanie Babies.
See how big it was.
To how big it was, but then also, will it crash at some time? And because you know what happened with Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
I don't think that Funko will crash like Beanie Babies did, because Funko keeps making new stuff.
Yeah, and they've gotten better licensing on things.
And when they get new licenses, the one license that everybody is waiting for, and it'll be a game changer. Nintendo.
Oh wow, they don't have one for
They don't have one for Nintendo. So they've got the Pokemon license, but they can't make any of the Nintendo characters.
So they don't know Mario. There's no.
Nope. So anytime you've seen like a Mario or anything, it's a custom.
Okay, and why do you think it's been Nintendo's holding out, or what's going on? Do you think it's?
I honestly I don't know. I know they've tried to get it for a while. I just think that the price on it is not something that they're able to do right now. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe Nintendo doesn't want to do it. Nintendo, I don't know. I've never worked for Nintendo. I've never talked about it that works for Nintendo, but from what I've read and heard from people that have done interviews about it, they're very particular about how their characters look.
Oh yeah, okay.
So and wanting it to be accurate, but it would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done other video game characters. They've done Pac-Man ones. There's thinking of like old school video games. They've done Space Invaders. But how cool would that be? I mean, to have a Nintendo,
Yeah, they would make it look really cool too, because you know how the look of like a Mario or even like
even just think of the world of Mario. I mean, that's probably
so many characters.
That's probably 200 pops right there.
To have every single one of those, oh man! And then you got like. Baby Mario, and you got all those ones.
That's what I'm saying.
And Donkey Kong too.
And then you start doing Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
And then you do the rides. I mean, the possibilities are endless there. You think about the Legend of Zelda.
Oh man, they have Zelda.
You think about.
I guess the only time I ever see Zelda is you guys have the pictures.
We have the prints, yeah.
But nothing like that's a whole nother world of Funko that is waiting to happen.
There's possibilities. It's. But it would be cool. It would definitely be cool. But they do. They keep coming out with new stuff. They come out, with new TV shows. So my favorite one that came out, I don't know that it was too many people's favorite one, because I know they weren't like big sellers, but the Happy Days pops.
Oh yeah, out. They just that's a fairly new one, right?
Fairly recent.
And you met
I met Henry Winkler. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that in your photos, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's the nicest guy, and I grew up with Happy Days. Reruns, not the live ones. I'm not that old, guys. But that was my childhood, was watching the reruns, in the 80s. And so I was really excited when they made those. And so when you talk about a Grail, the Fonzie one that came out, that's a new Grail for me. I was really excited.
You met him, and it's like you have that little bit of like you have a story behind it,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he's just such a laid back guy, and just it's just like talking to you. It's just like talking to any other person, and you don't get that with all celebrities. So
yeah, and you also met what's his name? The guy that is like, is it not Spider-Man or the Marvel?
Oh, Tom Holland.
Yeah,
I met Tom Holland.
Yeah,
he's a very nice guy too. That's the fun thing about conventions, is you get that opportunity to meet a lot of different people. And you get to spend a little bit of time with them. Usually not a lot.
Yeah, it's just like anything, anytime it's like a meet and greet kind of thing.
Yeah. But we're definitely looking to expand on who we're bringing in and how often we bring people into the store. And like I said, we've got people coming in through the end of the year. We're booked out that far ahead right now, so.
A lot of new things happening, a lot of exciting things happening.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you guys are in town, check out Unlock the Con. Like, it's like it being in this store right here. Like, as another thing too for me being a hobbyist in this is it's like down the street from my house. It's like literally like I come here all the time. But it's one of the coolest stores here. It's
and if you're in Washington and you're in the South Sound, I'm in Tacoma. So for me to go to Funko headquarters, it's a good hour drive in decent traffic.
Oh yeah.
And if in bad traffic, which about 45 minutes of that, it's just going through downtown Seattle, it could be a 2-hour drive. And that's each way. Yeah,
and especially with like the COVID thing happening, being in that line, you're going to be in line for another maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a day trip.
It's an all-day commitment. We're a little bit closer if you're coming from the south. If you're up north and you're right by Funko HQ, it makes sense. But we get people that come down from Everett, Snohomish too, that'll come down and they're like, okay, I like Funko HQ, but I like this store too, because the thing, again, that we offer that they don't is this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
stuff that is long gone from being able to find.
Yeah, what would you say that was probably one of the rarest Funko Pops that's been in the store?
Ooh, there's been a lot of them. We had the silver Ichiro in the store.
Oh man, yeah.
That was only a 51 piece, so only 51 of those made. We had the blue Heisenberg, which was a 2015 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Breaking Bad. And that's a pretty hard one to find. We had from 2013, we had the 480-piece Disco Skeletor from Masters of the Universe.
Oh man.
And not disco like Staying Alive, but but disco like just the colors are very bright and vibrant and metallic. And that piece there is like a $2,000 piece.
So you think that was probably one of the most expensive items and that had been sold or been sold there? Okay, I have a few just gonna see if you kind of like some trivia almost.
All right.
And I'm gonna see if you can kind of let me see what
test my knowledge.
Yeah. Let's see what okay, so I'm gonna try to pull one up here. Okay. So this came out in 2018. Stranger Things, and it's the Hopper. It was I think looks
the gold one.
The gold one, yeah.
The 40
piece
one,
yeah.
Yep, only came at Funko Fun Days to one table.
Yeah. So did you ever see it? Had you ever seen it in hand?
Never seen it in person.
Okay. How much do you think it went for? How much do you think it's worth right now? This was this came out like last year, so just kind of give a.
I would say the 40-piece Hopper is probably going for. Oh man, I don't even know.
Just brand.
I'll say 1,500.
1,500. 4,100.
I was in the ballpark.
Yeah,
I was in the parking lot, and I was still in the ballpark.
So yeah, that one was actually at the top. I put like the most expensive ones.
Yeah,
that was the least expensive one out of all of those. Yeah. Let me go one more time. I'll see if that's Barry. I'm gonna ask him to see. Okay, here we go. I don't know if he's coming in here. The Booberry glow-in-the-dark chase. Do you know what that one looks like?
Yep. Never seen it in person, but yeah.
Booberry. I'm gonna ask see if he knows. Glow-in-the-dark chase. How much do you think that goes for right now? Yeah, just as a guess. 180. 180 bucks. Okay, what do you think? No, these are the top 5.
The original Booberry, not the little cereal bowl guy.
Okay, what do you got?
I'm gonna go price this right. 3,801.
5,570.
Woo!
Yeah, a couple grand off. What? I don't even. I wish I had these ones. All right, last one, and see if Stan. I was actually gonna say, you met Stanley, right?
Met Stanley twice.
Yeah. Okay, that's who I was asking about. Okay, so the most expensive one that I found. Do you know what this one might be?
Holographic Darth Maul?
Nope. And I don't even know what this character is. It's the Clockwork Orange.
Oh, the So that one. So the story on the Clockwork Orange, it was never released, and there were 12 of them in existence, and they were just passed out
to like the employees there, or
I don't even know if it was employees or just friends and family, but the story was they didn't have the license or they had lost the license, so they couldn't distribute them, but they'd already made 12, and so they just handed them out for resale. Now they did get the license later on, and they made a couple different Alex ones, but that first one that first came out, I know that is probably the most expensive one.
That one's it's estimated for 13,300.
Yeah,
like who in there? Like I want to know someone's like, I'm getting that one. That's the one I'm trying to get. Like,
I mean,
that's a lot of money right there. That's like,
you know what's interesting though, I mean, is you get people that's what they collect is the high dollar stuff. You know, I'm not interested in these common ones. I want the rare ones, the hard to find ones. I want that to be my thing. And if you think about it, you know, you could go and you could buy $10 pops, spend $100, or you could buy one $100 pop, you still spend $100. So it all kind of depends on what you want to get. Do you want to have just a few? Do you want to collect them all? And it's really hard to be a completionist in any line because
If you keep on adding another one.
keep adding to them.
So I'm gonna ask you a quick thing too. Also, so you saying this one has like what you said it was about like they have made like 10 of these ones, or not? That the orange one, what orange Clockwork guy? They only made a few of them, right?
Yeah.
What gives it this worth of $13,000? I don't get it. Like, where does that? How does someone like put a cost on something?
So when they look at the way they determine how much the value is on it is they look at what it has sold for. And so while they were handed out, people eventually over time started selling them on eBay or wherever. And that's what the Funko app, that's what HobbyDB, Pop Price Guide all use to determine the value is they look at those online sales.
Yeah, it's weird that how we put a value on something though, like that right there. If you think about it, like the materials don't cost that much, the box doesn't cost that much, but where does that value actually come from? And now, and like just like the Mona Lisa, it's like one of one, right?
Yep.
And it's like worth like I don't know millions of maybe I don't know how exactly it's
out of my pay range.
Yeah, right. And so now I don't know if you know anything about NFT.
Yeah,
and that's a new thing that
they
like
started doing
they're
NFTs.
going. Yeah, and so NFT, if you guys don't know, it's like. It's all digital.
Yep.
But it's like it has like the information of like where it came from, who bought it, who's bought it now, and going basically like the trail of it, where it's been, and how many of this coin was made.
Yeah. And
that is becoming a collectible type of thing.
It is, and it's just kind of taken off. They've just started doing that here. Actually, it was last month. I think was the first one released was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones. Mm. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know it's kind of like the cryptocurrency. It's something that has definitely become more popular in the last year and a half or so. Mm. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I think it's great for people that have no wall space like myself.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like you want to. It's like it's nothing really. It's literally digital. Yeah. But the fact that like you can have one of this digital thing like
so there are some and I don't know how it all is going to work because again it's still early on. It's the first wave that's come out, but they've got where you can actually over time turn it in for a physical figure. And so I don't know how that's all going to work. I haven't looked that deeply into it, but I think it's intriguing.
Yeah and I like it's like, man, it's almost like when my kids, they play Fortnite and they're buying, like, oh, we got to get this new outfit, this new thing.
The new skin or something.
Yeah, it's like, and then it's like after they buy it, it's nothing to them. Like they can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
But that money just bought something that's not physically there. It's like, it's not physically anything, but yeah, man, that's another whole nother thing to get into NFT stuff and collecting. But I just wanted to say thank you. I don't know how long you wanted to go for, but I just wanted to say, like, man, this is.
Oh, I can go as long as you'd like to.
Oh yeah, like I don't want to.
I can answer anything.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and how you enjoying this so far?
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been a lot of work. I'm really excited for the new store, and it's just to have the space. I know you've been in the store before over there when it's been crowded.
Yeah, and you were saying like when. The comics. I'm not really a huge comic guy, but I could tell like, okay, some people are gonna be looking at it, sitting down, maybe crouching their back and hurting their back a little bit.
Yeah.
Having a spot where you can sit back and just like take your time, because you guys aren't rushing anyone, but you kind of get that feeling like, oh, I can't be here too long. People want to come in, like.
Right.
And so having an area where like there's no rush, you can.
No, and in this space, were we to go back to occupancy limits, which I think, given our current climate, is definitely a possibility. In this space, we're definitely going to be able to have a higher occupancy rate than we would have had over there. We at one point, I think we were down to 9-10 people in the store at a time. And that makes it hard because, especially if you're coming and you've got your little kids with you, little kids have a hard time waiting.
Yeah, they don't have their patience doesn't last very long.
Although some adults are the same way. You walk up, there's 2 people in line. No, I'm not waiting. And it's like, okay, come back later.
Yep. And what I really love about Comic-Con, not Comic-Con, Unlock the Con was, hopefully I'm not. It's just for like, I guess loyalty customers, right? You get a percentage off, but also like after you spend so much, you might get like a free poster or free picture?
So we did that early on. That was something that we did when after we finished up the run with the initial lease, and we extended the lease out through the end of the year. That first month or so in January, we went through, and anybody that came in, if they wanted to sign up, would be put in as a loyalty member. So
okay. So looks like I'm a loyalty person because I signed up. Definitely, that was definitely a cool thing to do. That was
because we wanted to do something special for people that were there with us from the very beginning. And so when you come in now, we'll still sign you up, but we sign you up for our rewards program. So with the rewards program, you're not getting a discount every time you shop, but you're earning points every time you shop.
Oh, okay.
And over time, as those points add up, if you shop with us a lot, they add up really fast, and you'll get certificates for so much off, free art prints. We've talked about when we do events, being able to do something special for our rewards and loyalty members, whether that means early access or front of the line access. And for the grand opening coming up next week, we've done that for our top 35, our VIPs as we call them. And so they're going to get a little gift basket. They're going to get front of the line access because they've been with us all the way through, and they're coming in, and they're our VIPs.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And I felt like I'm a little bit of, I don't know if I am here, but
I'd say you are.
Yeah. No, just like that, getting rewarded, even like just buying things there, that's pretty cool. Like,
and it doesn't cost anything. There's some stores have rewards programs, but you have to pay like an annual fee for it. We don't do that. It's completely free. We don't call you. We don't text you. If we have a special coming up, we'll send out a message. But it's not going to be one of those things where like every week you get this random like $5 off.
No, you're not bombarding them with all this stuff.
We put that on our social media, and then if you choose to look at it, you choose to look at it. We hope you do.
No, I remember because I hit this benchmark at how much I bought there. Oh, you get this free print, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. How much did I spend? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like, don't even tell me. Like, I'll just take the picture.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely cool, and man, it's exciting to see this place and just the possibilities, really, what can be, can happen here now, like, with all this space. Like, this is a huge space. I don't ever think I've ever seen something this dedicated to Funko Pop and to this type of art,
Yeah, no, it's, I would say we are probably the largest retail store as far as Comic-Con type stuff you're going to find. I know that there are other malls that have, like, comic book stores that have kind of moved into spots in the mall. I like to think that we were kind of the trendsetter for that.
Oh, yeah. I guess I had noticed a little bit more now.
Yeah. There's a couple over at South Center. There's one, I think, going in over at Tacoma. And there's one also up at the Everett Mall, I believe.
And what was that going? I don't know if they're still doing it now, but they had like a bunch of people selling their collections of different things, baseball cards.
So that's the card show and collectible show that they do that once a month.
Okay.
They've expanded. It used to be just one day. They've expanded that to a 2-day show. And that's always fun because, people come in here and if they can't find something, we could say, well, no, we don't have it, but there's a show going on down at the food court. You can go check it out, And they do the same thing. You're like, oh, no, we don't have. Well, go check out Unlock the Con. Just walk around, the other side there, and I think you'll be happy with what you find.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even know that those were happening once a month, and I came one day, and there's a lot of people selling Funko Pops there too.
Yeah,
these smaller collections. I'm wondering if those guys ever looking at berries like, man, one day, like that. There's a light to the end of the road. Like there's something that could this is a potential, if you really follow it.
No, it's definitely, and like I said, that wasn't the original vision, but just there was opportunity. It went well, and it's grown, and it continues to grow, and who knows? Someday, it could be franchised. We could open up a second location somewhere.
Yes, man, that's
you never know. possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I remember when you were saying like, yeah, we're just here for the season,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
and I was like kind of
was
sort
the
of
plan.
bummed out, like, oh, man, like,
Yeah. So the mall came to Barry and Ashley and said, the community loves you guys, and we want you guys to stay. What can we do to make you stay? And so they worked out a deal that made sense for everybody, and made it so that we could still operate on the hours. So and for those of you that don't know, we don't operate on normal mall hours. We're not open 7 days a week. We will be this year once we get to holiday. We'll be open 7 days, but right now we are Thursday through Monday. We started out just being Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just on the weekend, because like I said, everybody else was still working their other jobs. Now at this point, we've added Thursday, we've added Monday, and of course still Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're just closed Tuesday and Wednesday. But the mall's been great with that too.
Yeah, and Barry's been really, he's a good guy. To where I was able to be like, I texted him on like it was a Tuesday. I was like, yo, I remember seeing that the big Funko Pop, I don't know what size.
The 10-inch one?
Yeah, I was like, yo, is there any way you can hold it for me? He's like, yeah, definitely hold it for you. And he was able to do that for that. You got to go. You got to be there. You got to know the guy. You got to be kind of cool with him so he's not like. And that one was probably more like, not that like rare. So he's like, yeah, but there's the rare ones and he's not going to be able to do that for you. But
no, and it all kind of, like you said, kind of depends on what it is. We've gone back and forth on holds.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say like I'm okaying this, but I'm just saying.
No. But I mean, we've gone back and forth on it because there's two sides of it. There's always two sides to everything. But there's I'm taking it off the shelf, but I know someone's going to come buy it. But then there's the other side of it is they didn't show up to buy it. And now it's been off my shelf for 2 weeks. So
I guess if you kind of built a rapport with you guys, like we know you.
If we know the person and we know they're going to come in and get it, then we will hold it.
So
if you come in and it's your first time in and you say, hey, could you hold this? I need to go run to the ATM or whatever, which conveniently is right outside our store. So it's not a long run. Yeah. Then we'll hold it for you. Yeah. But usually we do about 24 hours. So it's like if you don't come pick it up within your 24-hour window, unless you tell us it's going to be like the next day or a couple days, then it's going to go back out on the shelf. So.
Yeah. I think it was like I was like, oh, wondering if it was still there, and it was like I'll be there the day you guys open up again. So no, and it was crazy because it was like you guys were open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was like, man, like you're waiting all week, can't wait to like. Now it's Thursdays, right?
Thursdays are going to be the day to get in and get the new stuff. So, which is interesting because Thursdays kind of become the day up at Funko headquarters too, that the new stuff is dropping. It used to be Wednesdays because Funko is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays also. And
is that something that you guys are trying to also kind of go from? Like, okay, let's just kind of go with that. How they're closed out. You said
no. We just needed a break.
Yeah, definitely.
We just for myself personally, working 40 hours teaching and then coming in and working the weekends. I mean, at times I was working 7 days a week, and it's
a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Especially during like you guys started in the holiday season too, and it's just like, oh man.
Yeah. And for Barry, I mean, even though the store is closed, there's a good chance you find him in the store doing something, just getting things ready. Because the thing is, like I said, we get probably 5 collections a week at least, sometimes more.
Are these collections from the same people a lot of times, or has there been a time where it's like, okay, this guy came in again like next week, or is it like always?
Sometimes you get people that'll bring in. I always like to call it like the feeling out process. So like they'll bring in a small batch of stuff to see like, okay, are they really going to give me a fair deal on it? And then they're like, okay, yeah, they gave me a great deal on it, and then they'll come back with more stuff. Some people bring all their stuff at one time, and it all depends. Like there's I know there's like. For me, if I were to bring in something, it was because I'm trying to downsize them. Like I don't even honestly like whatever you can give me, I'll take it. Like I'm not trying. Is there like a lot of those? Sometimes. I mean, it all depends. The main thing people have to understand about when we buy stuff is that we can't pay PPG, we can't pay Funko at price. We'd lose money that way. Mm-hmm. And so we have to look at what percentage we have to pay for the space, for the mall, for taxes, and then we can make an offer on most stuff, if it's common stuff that we can still order wholesale, because we are a direct reseller for Funko, so we get stuff directly from Funko too. That kind of stuff we're looking at, 30 to 40%. When you start getting stuff like this that's harder to find, then those percentages go up because you're looking at something that is going to be popular. It's going to be probably a quick, easy sell. And we can give you a little bit more for that because we know it's not going to sit on our shelf for weeks.
Have you seen anything come in? You're like, I got to get that one. Or how is it for you? You guys get a little bit of in-house because it's like you guys are first to see it? Or are you guys more like, no, this is for our customers. Like, we're not, it has to be on the floor for so long and then you can grab it or something?
Can I plead the fifth on that?
No, I know that's like, man, like there's a lot of times where, because I used to work at Target and it would be like Black Friday, and the thing was like, you have to be off the clock. You can't go in there. You can't hold it. So
it all kind of depends on what it is. I mean, if it's something that we know, like somebody is really going to want that works, because everybody that works here works so hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, none of us are going to be millionaires at the end of the day. Let's say somebody was a huge Kurt Cobain fan, and we haven't had Kurt Cobain in forever. And
I remember he had one. Was it this one?
We did have that one.
Oh yeah, I remember him posting about it.
But let's say they needed one. Let's say they needed the Hot Topic one, which is it's not as high priced as that one, and that comes in, and we know that so and so that works with us needs that, and we're going to let them know first. Before we put it out there.
Do you guys have like a board? Like, okay, I'm looking for this one. I'm putting them here. If anyone comes across, or is that something they are talking in the back? Like, oh man, I'm looking for this one. Like,
we all have our in search of lists, but I mean, and at the same time, it's one of those things too where it's like you said, should we just put it out for the customers? And most of the time that is, but if it's you get that one that's just like, man, it's just been eluding you, and it shows up like it just dropped from the heavens, and you're like, okay, I got to get this. Just tell me what you're going to charge for it.
That's crazy.
Let's make this happen. Guaranteed sale, right?
No, that's is there one out there right now that you're looking for? That's just like a really.
Yes, it's a very it's not. Most people say it's a very expensive. For me, I'd say it's kind of a middle range in terms because compared to like what you were talking about. But right now, it's going for between like $350, $400. But I'm looking for the Cheshire Cat Mad Tea Party pop. So it was a WonderCon exclusive that was only online. You had to get lottery to get it, and I've only seen it one time in person, and it's one I'd like to get. But it's that's what makes the hunt fun.
Is that one like? I feel like it's a little like I don't know how it's changed. With like eBay and stuff, like, is that really hunting for it if you could just get on eBay?
Well, no, and that's the thing. I I like to find stuff, as they call it, find it in the wild.
Yeah, I like that.
So whenever people post their pictures, like, look what I found in the wild today, means that they picked it up off the shelf at Target or wherever. It's like, but
those are more exciting to find. Those ones.
Those are exciting. I saw somebody yesterday put up. They found the Blacklight Venom that was really hard to find when it first came out, and now they're starting to get restocks, and like there were like 12 on the shelf, and they're like, look what I found in the wild. It's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wish I found that.
Yeah, right. And I feel like there's like, you think there's some places like in the Midwest that they're getting these Funko Pops that no one might see, like different locations like that?
I think it's definitely more popular in certain areas than others. Yeah. I think that's definitely
because I know that there's like
factor.
If you look online, like I'm like, I just bought this one for like $10, but they're online, they're trying to sell them from way more. See, people are buying them at that price, maybe in a different location. Like they don't.
Yeah, I mean, people are always going to try and resell for the maximum value online is what I've noticed. It seems like, and like we mentioned earlier, if it's too good to be true, there's probably a little something suspicious there.
Yeah. So on my podcast, I like to give gifts for, that's my thank you to being on here. And I was like, I can't get him a Funko Pop. I don't know what to get him. He's probably got every single one. So this is actually just, my company is More Than Just Music. So we make beanies, and I just made them from, for my friends and whoever would like them. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's not like a beanie season right now. It's not cold out there. It's been actually pretty hot lately. But
it's coming up though. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
was looking at the forecast coming up, and I was like, man, it's gonna cool off faster the next few weeks.
oh yeah. It was just like in the 90s like last week, and it feels good right now.
No, it's a nice temperature outside right now.
Yep. Do you have any? I don't know if you have Instagram. But do you follow any Funko Pop?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I follow a lot of different ones. Funko Pop Hunters was, I think, the first one that I started following, and then I think it's called Disc Collectibles now because he's doing not just Funko but all types of different collectibles. He's a good one to follow. Sterling Pops is a good one to follow. There's a lot of different ones out there. Unlock the Con's a good one to follow.
I definitely follow that one, and it's like, because I'm like when I'm on trying to post, like I made my own as Funko Rocks because I like the rocks ones, but it does a bunch of other ones on there too. But I'm trying to get like this good image of it, like a good little video of it. But if you go onto some other people's, they're like they have them out the box, like in the wild, like say if it's a if it's like a foresty type of one, right? They're in the forest, they have like trees, and it's really good video or not videography, but photography taking of it, you know. So.
Yeah, no, I love seeing that kind of stuff where they actually you take it and it becomes a piece of art.
Yeah,
you know, and so Marcus, you know Marcus.
Yep.
He does that. He'll make these beautiful displays in his home. He'll send us pictures. He doesn't post them on anything, but like I mean, he does his most recent one that I saw. He's probably done one since this, but his 4th of July one.
Oh wow!
And it was super cool. He had Evel Knievel on the bike, like jumping through like this, you know, like flaming hoop, and you know, he had like Abraham Lincoln, George Washington crossing the Delaware. You know,
oh, that's awesome! You know, man. I like that.
all the different pops that relate, you know, to America and Independence Day. And he does that. He'll do that probably for Halloween coming up. Will probably be the next big one that he does.
And see, and that's like, that's another, like, they're going, like, that's what you can do with these Funko Pops. Because sometimes, like, I'm at a point where, like, because I'm talking to my wife and my kids, and I'm like, oh, like, these aren't toys, these are collectibles. And and then I'm like I was at a point where I was buying a bunch. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I come up with cost, but then there's other times I'm like, I just like seeing them, you know.
Well, I love building the displays. Mine are not as elaborate as his, so like I would always defer to him on a display. But I mean, like, I know I've done a few different ones. I made a display of like the Hoth scene from Star Wars.
Oh wow!
Yeah, from Empire Strikes Back, and you know, so I've got like Han on the Tauntaun, and I've got Luke with the Wampa and the Wampa missing his arm, and, you know.
Yeah. That's and then so like I know that's like another way of displaying them.
Yeah.
What I did was I have a bunch of the presidents, and then I have the president just passed that got assassinated.
Oh, JFK.
JFK, yeah. So I got JFK, and I went to BNI in Tacoma. They have this coin shop, right? And so I wanted to get the 50-cent piece, but I got so what I found out, what I didn't know was before he passed away, there wasn't a 50-cent coin of him.
Nope.
Who was it before him? Do you know? Who had? There was actually another 50-cent piece
before Kennedy.
Before Kennedy, that was for the entire, like, for a long time. He was on the 50-cent piece, and then when Kennedy died, they honored him. Do you know who it was?
I have no idea.
It was Benjamin Franklin.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what I did was I went to this there's a coin shop there at the BNI, and they had I got the Benjamin Franklin coin the last year that they made it. So it was like in the 50s or I don't know, but I can't remember what year, but I had to look at the coin. And I put it in, I have it in a little case, and I have it in that Funko Pop. And then I got the JFK the day that he got assassinated. Those two coins, like, it was the year or something. Yeah. Or no, it wasn't the year that he was assassinated, because it was the year that they went to the moon.
Okay.
So, because to honor him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my little thing I'd like to do with them.
That's cool.
I add that in there.
Well, and that's what I love about these, is that you can make it your own. You can do whatever you want with it. And like we were talking about earlier, the customization, the displays, just have fun with it. And it's I mean, it's in the name, Funko, right?
Yeah. Just
have fun with it. And when it gets to the point that you're not having fun with it, that's when you got to step back and kind of think about, like, what is my goal here? Is my goal to gather as many as I can? Is my goal to get as many valuable ones as I can, or is my goal to just have fun and make it fun? That's my advice to anybody that's, whether you're just starting out, whether you've been collecting for a while, whether you're an old school guy like myself, just have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it stops being fun,
then
what do you do?
Yeah. It's always like you were saying, it's something to talk about, a subject. Like all of a sudden you have guests over and like, oh man, like all these Funkos, and they get amazed, like, oh, you got this? Like I didn't even know they made that. Yep. Like what's his name? Steve Irwin. Yeah. That was my favorite. That's another one of mine. I love that one. Yep. Steve Irwin was
Crocodile Hunter.
Yeah, man. Like that guy was such a likable guy. They can never make another one of those. Like, man, just the way that show was this awesome show. Like a guy, wrestling crocodiles. Like there was that's like a real hero in the world. You know what I mean? Like this guy's wrestling crocodiles. Like, and just to see that, and that was another one that had just came out when I started collecting. Like, it's just a weird, like the world was like aligned to where like, okay, Kyle's coming into Funko Pop. Here's some new ones coming out that are gonna be really like something you like. It was a strange thing that just kind of happened. I noticed it too. It was like, and I've always wanted to share my Funkos and stuff like that, but it's like, I don't know if anyone's gonna. I think this podcast is the opening of like, okay, now a lot of people are gonna know that I collect these, and it's not just and a lot of people's like, oh, I see you bringing out your toys again, and I'm like, honestly, it's a fun hobby. Like I think anyone out there that it doesn't have to be Funkos to get into a hobby. Like sometimes you get. You're stuck in your 9 to 5 and, just the day-to-day life and, start getting out and doing things, and that's what I feel like for the pandemic was a huge thing for me. I got into Funko Pop. I started to learn how to grill. Like I wanted to get into grilling a lot more. Like I was never a guy that like was about grills. Like I knew I didn't want propane because I'm not really about propane. So I got briquettes. Yep, and that was charcoal. So and I was what was it? I was using the liquid to put on it, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt like it was kind of getting into the meat, and I could taste it. I was like, I didn't really. At that time, I was like, I just cooked it till I thought it was done and whatever, and I could taste it in there. I was like, I want to dive a little bit more deeper into grilling and figure out like, kind of becoming more of a like mastering it a little bit more, right? And so then I got into pellet grills, and that's where it's really at, because you're wood pellets, and it's a fire, it's a little element, and that's like the way of cooking the meat that way was like a lot better, I guess. A lot.
You get that nice smoky flavor.
Smoky flavor. There's no chemicals, all that, and I dived really deep into that. I feel like that was something the pandemic kind of put onto me. I got into that, and then I got into Funko Pop, and it's like. I think people need to get hobbies. It helps you out, it takes you away from, the real world and, get into other things,
Absolutely. And again, the main thing is just don't go overboard.
Yeah.
Just buy what you like. Don't necessarily, I know you said you like to complete all the lines, but don't necessarily feel if you're doing like a big line that you have to get all of the variants, because it just, they add up.
Oh yeah, they do add up. I've never understood too, like the numbers. Like I know, like when you have a variant of like, that was like 6. It'd be 674, 675, 6. Why did they start at 6 though? Why did they start at like the 600s for that?
Well, they started at 1, but what it's based on is the line. So this Kurt Cobain was the 64th in the Rocks line. The Selena was the 206th.
Oh wow! So he was fairly newer. He's the first 100, I guess you'd say, in the Rocks. Like the Rocks it's fairly new one, right?
No,
they've been
the Rocks is not a new line, but the Rocks has really expanded. So the first wave that came through in the Rocks line, like they made the Beatles.
Oh man, I bet that one's.
And they made Ozzy Osbourne was one of the early ones, not the recent ones that came up, but the first one I want to say is like.
They looked a little different too, right?
They definitely look different. Pops looked very different early on. They're way more detailed now. Some of them have the mouth, which none of the early ones have the mouth. So that's the thing about Pops, is that the sculpting has definitely evolved and changed.
Do you feel like it's gotten better?
I think it's definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely gotten better. But like there are some early on that you look at them and you're like, okay, I mean, it looks like the character, but again, like it has no mouth. It has, and that's pretty much all the early ones. It's the two eyes, the nose, and then the rest of the figure is how you can kind of tell who it is. So.
And when did they start changing them? Was it like 2013, 14?
Yeah, I want to say it was about that time period, 13, 14.
Yeah, because that's what I feel like I got into. And I don't remember them having a mouth though, but
not a lot.
I think they might have had like a smile or something, or
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, and there's some still that don't.
He's got a goatee.
Yeah.
She's got a mouth, but yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I mean, I feel like the old ones though, like those are the more rare, those really ones. Like, like you won't find those. Have you guys gotten any of those old like those years in here?
Just in general, or the Rocks line?
Just in general, I guess.
Yeah. We get stuff. We get stuff like that that'll come in sometimes. Usually doesn't last very long, and that's why I always say like come in, and we get new stuff every day. So I mean, like as we process stuff, we don't hold it for the following week. As we process it, it goes out on the floor.
So when you get, how long does it take to process? Is it like one day or?
Depends on how busy it is. I mean, if it's super busy and everybody has to be on the floor, then it takes a little bit to get it all processed. If we can manage with one person in the back putting stuff into inventory, then we get it out a little bit faster.
So is that something kind of new for you guys too? Like we're doing all this inventory processing, like that wasn't a big thing at Comic-Cons, right? Like having to do all that.
Oh no, I mean you take your inventory with you, and whatever you take is what you sell. You don't usually buy inventory at Comic-Cons. But I mean, I have had people come over and like, hey, I know you guys sell these. I know you guys have a store. I don't want to take them home. Would you like to buy them? And at the end of a show, I've done that a couple times where but then we still have to bring it in and enter it all into inventory in the store.
What your collection is compared to Barry's collection is his huge.
So Barry actually he's already done what I'm in the process of doing. He went through and he downsized and he kept the ones that meant the most to him. And because I think he found himself in a situation kind of like where I'm at right now, where it's just like I'm out of room. and that's the thing. It's like if you want to continue to collect, you either say, well, I'm out of space, that's it, I'm done, which it never works because they always come up with something cool. So it's like okay, well, I got to make some space, so I got to clear out X amount, and you bring it in, and then it's like it goes out on the shelf, and somebody comes in and like, wow, I haven't seen this forever, and it goes into their collection and makes them happy. And
what's the biggest collection you've seen?
The biggest Funko Pop collection? Oh man, there's a little reader board out here that runs through different things, and they had it on there. I want to say the guy had like 7,000-ish.
7,000? Jeez.
But I mean, at that point, you're literally buying everything.
Yeah. Man, that is nuts.
Yeah.
7,000. Yeah. I wonder how much he really spent on all that too. You think like?
I don't know.
I mean, by that time, people were giving them to him.
Probably.
And,
Yeah.
Man, I know. There's a guy on. He's saying he's the biggest collector. He's got like, he's got the like settings and like displays, really nice displays and all that, and like, oh, this is this movie and this is this show, and going down like these are all the shows, and
if you've got the space, more power to you.
Yeah,
most of us don't have that much space.
yeah. And it was like for the beginning, my wife was like, man, like what do you like? She really wasn't like okay with it. She was like, it was a couple. She was like, oh, that's fine. Yeah. And then like the next day it was like a couple more in there, and all of a sudden it's just like our whole side of the room was just full of Funko Pops. Till one day I came back and she had to rearrange it for me, which was kind of like out of order. But it was fully fine now. But she has it in the living room, which is way actually nicer than it was in our bedroom because no one can see it in the bedroom. Like everyone can see it in the living room, and so yeah. Now she's starting like I actually only made one custom one at the Funko Pop store, and it was her. I made one of her. So that she would be a little bit more happy about it, like.
Oh, and I think the Pop People thing that they have there is really cool, and I love the potential for it. It's just right now they're always out of different outfits, and I think that's pandemic related. I think once they're able to finally get that thing fully stocked, it's really going to take off. So
Yeah. And I saw that Barry had the whole team made.
yes.
And he has like worthy numbers for offering if you want to buy them. Like,
Yes, I am the cheapest, I believe. So if you got $100 laying around, you can come by me at the shop. I'll sign it for you.
Yep. Definitely. Man, we hit that 2-hour mark already, man. We're right there, man.
See, I mean, I could talk about it all day.
Oh yeah, and I'm so glad that you sat down with me and talked to me. And man, we were at the mall. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna do it at the mall. It's like really cool, and I'm excited. So the 27th, 28th grand opening.
Yep.
Unlock the con. You guys do not want to miss this. Like
12 o'clock Friday is when we'll open up. Again, we'll have Tara Sands, voice actress for a lot of different cartoons, including Bulbasaur on Pokemon. We have Sandy Selner, Alpha 5 on Power Rangers. DJ Speaks coming in from Chicago. Have some giveaways, special mystery boxes.
Oh man,
all kinds of cool stuff. So come on down, check it out.
And you guys are open till 8, right?
Be open
So
till 8.
you have all day. If you guys can't make it right at the opening, just stop by. It's
Saturday. We're open at 10. So it's 10 to 8 on Saturday, and we're open Sunday. So I mean that'll be a part of our grand opening weekend too. But Sandy and Tara won't be here on Sunday. So.
Yep, but definitely come check it out. Like as of right now, looking, it's just so much more space in here, and I'm just looking at like Yoda the child right there, like he's been looking at me the whole time. Like,
well, so this is going to be our what we call our blasting off into space section here. So it's going to be all your Star Wars, Star Trek, and I don't know. You seen the Ewok?
Oh yeah, he got that almost like a life size one. Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. That was what is that a gift? Was that a gift given to him or how?
No, we bought it.
You bought it? Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
No, you guys get some cool things in here.
Yeah, so
little props.
He'll be sitting right there in the middle, and I'll just give you a little teaser for next week. If you're a Marvel fan, you definitely want to be here. It's going to be a great photo opportunity for you. All I'll say is that when you come in, all you're going to do is you're going to look and you're going to go, oh, snap.
Oh, man, I'm actually glad I didn't say anything because I do know, and I'm excited.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I've been telling my kids and everything, man. And I was surprised. I was like, I'm glad I didn't say anything. I'm definitely, like, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Yeah. I definitely don't want to miss that.
You got my reference.
Yeah, I already know. Yeah, I was thinking like, where? Oh, okay, yep.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Like, definitely, like. I'm so happy that I became friends with Barry and you guys and seeing the whole process from outside and just seeing it like how it's just blowing up and just getting so much bigger. Like this is such a huge space. It's really big.
Yeah.
And like I was thinking like how are they gonna I didn't know how many Funko Pops that what you guys actually had. And when they say like, oh, we got a new shipment and you guys are able to come check it out, like it's a lot. There is a lot of Funko Pops here. Like
and we're just
so many different walls, right?
We're just getting started, man.
And then I had the privilege of going in the back. You guys have a huge and then they have the shop over there still. Well, which I'm gonna go over there after this. I'm gonna go see what's going on.
And if you want to come down to the old spot, if you want to go down there for old time's sake, one more time, Sunday is the last day in the old spot. So we'll be closed after that. So we won't be open Monday, Thursday this next week because we're gonna be getting this spot ready for the grand opening.
Yeah. Oh, and my wife's sister, she's gonna be making the balloon arch. So she'll be doing a balloon arch. She does that a lot too. So it's gonna be cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be, man. You guys are really going big for this grand opening. Which
you know what they say, go big or go bigger.
I would like. I'd say like yeah. You definitely had the other store, but this is like the real grand opening.
Yeah.
Like
this is I like to call it the next chapter.
Yeah.
It's been a good story so far, and this is the next chapter. And
and
story keeps going on.
Yeah, and then I was like, when Barry was telling me, I'm like, oh man, I didn't. He's like, oh yeah, we're going to a bigger spot, and I'm like, oh man, like wonder what part of the mall, and it's like just a few stores down. Yeah. So if you guys don't know the small area, once you come in, it's literally not that far from the original store.
Yep. And if you've never been, we're on the Nordstrom side. So if you want to find a parking spot on that side, that's going to be the closest to the store.
Yep. I always park on the other one right over here, kind of by like that field. Sports spot.
That's not too much farther to walk.
Yeah. And like a lot of people might think this mall is not exciting, but this is the store you want to come to. Like this is the store. This is like that, iconic store. It's going to be an icon. I think. I feel like it's going to be pretty good. So
yeah. No. Possibilities are endless.
Yep. All right. Again, I want to thank you guys. Thank you for coming on. Like,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, and love to do it again sometime.
Really.
And yeah, definitely. If you guys enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe. Go follow Unlock the Con on Instagram. I know they have an Instagram on there.
Facebook as well.
Facebook. And I'll see you guys at the grand opening if you guys come. All right. So yeah.
All right.
See you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
Woo.